back to Kayla Cooks on TV. Today we'll be making a delicious treat, coffee toffee cookie bars. They're great for a potluck, Mother's Day, or just a sweet treat for yourself. All right, let's get started. First, we're gonna start by preheating our oven to about 350 degrees. All right, we've got our oven on, we're ready to go. So we're gonna take 2 1/4 cup flour, which I have measured out. We're gonna pour it into our sifter right here. If you don't have a sifter, that's fine. You can just kind of mix it up with a fork, but we're gonna pour our flour in there. And then we're gonna take a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I already have measured out here. And we're just gonna dump that into the sifter. Next, we're just gonna kind of sift that through to kind of mix all the ingredients up. And again, if you don't have a sifter, that's fine. A simple like fork kind of will do. You just want to get the dry ingredients really kind of mixed up so that there isn't too much salt on one side or baking powder on another. So we have that sifted through. We're gonna set this aside for a minute, and we're gonna come over to our mixer. So we're gonna blend 1 cup of butter, so that's 2 sticks of butter. Each stick of butter is a half a cup. And then we're gonna take 1 cup of brown sugar, and you wanna firmly pack that brown sugar into a cup. I already have that measured out. And then we're gonna take a 3 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract, so I'm just gonna measure that out right now. Almond extract tends to be pretty strong, so you might want to go light on the almond extract, but it does give it a really nice toffee flavor. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So we've got our pure almond extract measured out, and then we need 1 1/2 teaspoons of instant coffee. So I have that measured out here. We're just gonna empty that in. Ooh, you can really smell that almond. It smells great. So we're gonna lower our mixer down, and we're just gonna blend it together. I'm gonna start that on low first, and then I'm gonna stop it and kind of get the butter off of the mixer. Because although this butter is at room temperature, it can stick to the mixer, so we're just gonna get that off, and we're gonna blend again. You want that to really get mixed up good, because after it's all mixed up, we're gonna add in our dry ingredients, and we're gonna do that slowly. Again, you wanna try and mix the butter at as close to room temperature as you can. It's just easier to move it around. We're gonna turn this up a little bit, really get it mixed up. All right, so it looks like we have our brown sugar butter coffee mixture pretty mixed up. So we're gonna grab our dry ingredients, which I already have sifted over here, and we're gonna add them pretty slowly, because if you add them fast, they're just gonna go all over the place. So we're gonna lower this back in. We're gonna start our addition of our dry ingredients here. So I'm just kind of letting a little bit go in, and then I'm gonna let it mix for a little bit. Can add a little bit more in. Okay, I'm gonna stop it just for a minute and kind of scrape down the sides so that everything can get nicely mixed in. Also kind of scrape this off to reincorporate it into the mass of dough. Go. Oh, this smells great. I'm gonna put that back down. Going again, and we're gonna finish adding the rest of our dry ingredients. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna stop, and I'm just gonna scrape one more time on the edges of the bowl to just get any last flour that might not be incorporated into the mass, and then we're gonna stir in our chocolate chips. So just give the bowl a good little scrape one last time to try and get any extra flour, anything like that might be holding on to the edges. And then just take my and scrape this into the bowl. There we go. And one last mixture of that, and then we'll be ready to. For the chocolate chips, we're gonna use about 6 ounces of the chocolate chips. I used a little food scale to measure them out, but you can actually buy chocolate chips in 6-ounce packages. Either way works, whichever you feel comfortable with. Here's our little food scale. Those might be a good investment if you do a lot of baking. Baking's pretty specific in terms of amounts, so unlike just cooking, you can't just throw in chocolate chips. You need a pretty particular amount. Our dough here is finished, so we're just gonna take this out of our mixer and we're gonna fold our chocolate chips in. We don't wanna mix them in with the mixer because it will kind of grind up the chocolate chips. We wanna keep them kind of as whole as possible. So we're gonna take our 6 ounces of chocolate chips and we're just gonna mix. I'm just gonna put a few in to start and kind of fold those in with our dough. Good handle on the dough. Okay, and then I'm gonna add the rest right here. And we're going to press it into a greased pan. I sprayed a little non-stick in here first. Okay, so we have our dough. We're just gonna press it into our greased pan. You want it pressed out pretty thin because otherwise you're going to get really thick bars, and they're actually better a little bit thinner because they're kind of a rich cookie bar. So I'm just kind of pressing it out with my fingers. It's probably not going to take up the whole edge of the pan, so just be aware of that. So now that we have our dough pressed into our pan, we're just gonna take it and put it in the oven. So grab here, put it in the oven. We wanna cook it for about 20 to 25 minutes. You wanna keep an eye on bars and stuff like that to make sure that they don't burn. And we'll check back on that in about 20 minutes. All right, it's been about 20 minutes and it looks like our bars are ready to come out of the oven. Oh yeah, and they're a nice golden brown. So we're just gonna pull these out right here and look at, oh, and they smell delicious. So an important thing with these bars is we wanna cut them while they're warm. Otherwise they're gonna be real tough to cut when we cool. So we're just gonna come in here with our knife. Oh, these are great. They smell delicious. And they're gonna make about 3 dozen, maybe a little bit less. So they're perfect for like a potluck or a gift for someone because it makes a lot without a lot of effort. So I'm just coming in and making about 1-inch squares, but again, you can make them bigger or smaller depending on preference. Toffee, oh, it smells great. These I know are gonna be delicious. I like to cut mine kind of small, but again, whatever size you like. So we have them all cut. I'm gonna let them cool down a little bit before I actually take them off the pan because the chocolate again is still melty, so it's gonna get real messy if we try and take them off. But I am gonna try one right now. Mmm. Delicious. You can really taste the different flavors in it. It's so delicious. I hope you enjoy these bars as much as I do. Stay tuned.